When it comes to faith and business, how can faith play a role in helping us achieve success in our businesses?
I love that question. When it comes to your faith, first of all, you got to look after the person. If you're not looking after the person, you can't look after anyone, let alone a business. That's going to be tricky. So you look after the individual. And when I say look after, I don't mean get a makeover. And so that's a part of it, but that's way down the by. Yes. You eat well, you rest well, you play well. When you do that, you're less agitated. You think clearer. And if you're feeding your body right, your health is your first wealth. Yes. And where do we learn that from? Our belief in God. When you read the Bible, it tells you in the Garden of Eden, he organized what we should eat. He organized rest time, evening and morning, and he organized the cool of the day for rest in between. You read the Bible, it is all there. It's the same pattern that he made many moons ago that is it's for us today. The way how life is today can prove to be challenging. And so we don't get the rest as we should and the sleep. And remember when I said when you're employed, if you want more money, you have to work longer, work harder, longer hours. These are some of the stuff that affects us, right? So when you're talking about setting up a business, you have to have a way to look after yourself. And I've seen people in business work until they fall right down. They don't learn to trust people to do the job. They give you the job, then they micromanage. Yeah, and so on. And one of the things that I do in my business, I outsource to other businesses. In other words, I don't employ anyone. Just a point. Yeah. Now, talking about your faith, reading your Bible, praying, establishing yourself as a Christian. If you never do it before, do it while you're doing your business, because you're going to encounter things and people, times and experiences that you have not met in your life. When it comes to your faith, look at people of faith who do business and are successful. You need a mentor, and it is best to get one that's in the faith. Read books. Let me see. I have loads of books here. 35 They Ask You Answer. 365 Ways to Write. I've got so many books up here that will tell you about leadership. And there is one about the Bible. I'm going to give you the link to that one. It's a rabbi who wrote that book about the Bible. And he says, Bible principles, business principles, of the Bible. And he is a Jew practicing. And he's using the Bible and Bible principles. Okay. So if he can do that, that works quite well for me as well. So get people of the faith who are successful to mentor you. Read your Bible and pray. Be self-motivated. Be self-inspired. Not in everything. But if you don't have a drive if you don't have what will take you to get up in the morning and be disciplined, you can't do a business. Whatever it is, it's going to irk at you. Those things are important. Pray, talk to your people, get on. And when it comes to the business, do your research very well. Research. I can't tell you how many times. And one of the things that I did when I was starting my business, I researched all the successful Christian people who are running businesses of today. All of them, millionaires, billionaires. And I'm not talking about your prosperity gospel church pastors. I'm talking about people who are in innovation, IT, they are entrepreneurial, and they are there and they will tell you that they are Christians. And they're not hiding, it's just that we're not looking. And I might not be able to talk to some of them directly, but I will read up about them. I will go on LinkedIn and I'll follow them.
Yeah.
And I'll look at their blogs and I'll see what they're talking about and I'll get inspiration. So when it comes to your faith and your Christianity, that is important. Now, let us talk about some qualities that Christians must have. You must have integrity.
Mm.
If you're dishonest, you could do all of what I said. Read, pray, get a mentor of faith. If you're dishonest, it's not going to work.
Mm.
Integrity. Your stakeholders, your clients, people need to trust you. You know this saying, know, like, and trust? They work together. People needs to know, feel like they know you, like you, and trust you. If they know you and like you but don't trust you, no business. If they like you and trust you but don't know you, they'll be highly disappointed when you let them down. Won't work. So you have to build on your integrity. You have to be what you say on your mission statement. You got to, all of those lovely things that you write up when you're making your business page, make sure that that is who you are. Because when people come to you, that's what they want to see.
Mhm.
And because that's who you are, when it comes to your faith, just like how the same amount of blessing and grace you give to God, it will come across into your work. You will treat your staff, if you have members of staff, with respect and dignity. You will pay them fairly. Remember what the Bible talk about, paying the way when you're paying wages, you must do so fairly. You will, when you give loans, if you're giving your staff loans, if they have that perk and privilege from you, you won't expect a usury. You will be fair in your hiring and firing, because people believe that because you're Christian, you can't suck people. Yes, you can let them go. If they're not right for the business, you
Yeah.
let people go. No point holding on. Holding on for what? So you've got to be, but how? It's the how you do what you
Yeah.
do.
Mm.
When you do their appraisal, you can be fair, you can be honest, and leave them with hope. So sometimes somebody comes in and sit before you as a person of faith who runs a business. This is how your faith influence your business. You will listen to the individual in front of you, and then you will show them, because you're being honest and fair, you will have the right documentations, you will have the right things to show them. It will not be used as a weapon against them. It will be used to highlight areas where they can improve. Then you will give them the help to get there. And if with the help they're getting there, then you move on. Bigger fish to fry, business to run. If they're not getting there, then that conversation will have to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to entrepreneurs, business people, and the church, how can these two groups support each other, where the entrepreneurs can bring something and the church is also support? I can see you drinking your water.
I've got a drink for this. And let
So
me tell
how can these two live in a symbiotic relationship?
Let me tell you my experience, and I can only talk from my own. I have made observations
Yeah.
of other people's experience, but I will only talk from what I observe.
Mhm.
There are quite a number of people that I know that do business and are in the church.
Mhm.
However, because the church is charitable in its status, my personal observation is that they're not as understanding. I don't think they're malicious. They're not as understanding as how to accept help from businesses, or to render assistance to people who are doing business, the entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
For example, if you have a business and you're in church, they will expect a bigger tithe, and they will expect a tithe, and they will expect a bit more support financially, because you're well off. Everybody will know you run a business, you're really good person to know. If you're running your business, and for somebody like me, I'm having master classes, and if I go and ask my church, can I put my flyer on your wall for people who may be interested in doing it?
Mhm.
It becomes tricky, because it's not church anymore.
Mm.
It's now a business. And so the church don't know how to support. But really and truly, that is where the support is needed. You may not put it on the church bulletin board, but there might be a social board around the back
Mhm.
where Miss Mary I love the name Mary. Miss Mary bakes sweet potato puddings, and she wants people to know I bake sweet potato puddings. If you want, ring me on this number. Somebody might be a plumber. The plumber needs to have services done. He should be able to put his information on that screen, on that platform, to say, I provide plumbing services, and this is where you can find me. And the next thing too, when you provide a service as a fellow Christian, people believe that it's an extension of the church and it should be for free.
Ooh.
So we need to educate our congregation as entrepreneurs of how to respect the space of entrepreneurship and where your business could integrate with the church per se. So it's going to be people supporting each other. And I tell you what, in that book that I mentioned about Secret from the Bible, it tells us that monies in the Jewish faith, that community, monies in that community, if you spend $1, that dollar goes into that community around it about at least 7 times before it leaves. So I will buy a bread from the baker who is Jewish. The Jewish baker will buy a cup of tea from the cafe, that's Jewish. The cafe will pay a staff member who is Jewish with that pound. That staff member will buy a pair of shoes. It will help to buy a pair of shoes from the shoemaker, and it keeps going until at least 7 times. Unfortunately, our church is not there yet. We know that people run businesses and we know that they do it very successfully. We know that they give to the cause of the ministry, but we are not there in supporting them. Somebody will write a book. We don't feel that we should pay for the book. We want people to, and that's my experience only. We want people to give the book so we can give it to visitors. When that person took the time to write the book, they would have paid a lot of money to the person to proofread it, to publish it, and to pay for it to go on the platforms to keep it there so other people can see it, to promote it. And then because of how we are, or we're trained and our mindsets are, we expect to get it for free. And what I am saying is, if you cook, get your food handler's permit, get your information. Leaders in church, put a board around the back so that people who have skills and wish to be paid for it can put it there. And when your visitors come in to visit your church or your churches and they look at the back, they say, oh, they have bakers, they have childminders, they have everybody here. And so the church and the entrepreneurs and businesses can meet. Business people, when you get what you get, bless the church, bless the congregation. Need I say more? We have a saying in Jamaica, hand go, paki come. It means that, and that has nothing to do with no race or anything. It means calabash, the word, just in case we get
Somebody thinks,
It means that we give and we take. It's not one-sided. Support our people. And the more our people become independent financially, the more of their time we will get as a church, with more of their substance we'll get when they make it financially. And I will give you a beautiful example. I went to Canada, excuse me, and I went to this church called Apple Creek. I will mention it by name. In that church, there's a man who owns a bakery. He stops baking bread by 3:00 on a Friday. He collects all the bread and he has a wagon. It's like like an ice cream cart.
Yeah.
So he sells bread, freshly baked bread, milk. I don't know where he gets it from, and it's bread, milk, and something else. I don't know if it's butter or eggs. He brings that cart from the Friday and he leaves it in the front of the church. I don't know if he does it now still.
Yeah.
And at the end of church on Sabbath, the visitors who stay for AYS are served first. They're given a loaf of bread, and they're given a carton of milk, and they're given, he does half a dozen eggs, half a dozen. And the neighbors, he has a what you call like a leisure, and he knows which was the last road he stopped the last time. So he will go from that number and continue around. And when he's done, he start back at the top of the road. So everyone knows that every 3 weeks, they don't buy eggs and they don't buy bread and they don't buy milk.
Amazing.
I give back. Guess who buys from his shops? The church member buys from his bakery. The community in which he gives away those same bread buys from his bakery. And they tell people his bakery has been going on for years. He's been doing this for years.
Amazing.
And it just came to my mind. And how did I know? When I went there, I stayed for AY. I was stopping with a lady, and the lady had 5 children. And when he said, "Oh, where are you going?" I said, "Oh," he thought I was in a hotel. I said, "I'm stopping with a friend." He said, "Is your friend an Adventist?" "No." "Does how many people are in the family?" I told him. He gave me 3 massive loaves of bread, 2 big cartons of milk, and a dozen eggs.
Amazing.
When I went back and I gave it to my friend, she was absolutely shocked. Needless to say, she's sending the kids to church, even though she doesn't go herself.
Yeah.
So that's a ministry there. That's an entrepreneur. And this is the church cooperating with him. And they are witnessing through somebody's business.
Yeah.
We need to get to that place. When people do businesses, pay them for their services. We need to support our own entrepreneurs. That's what the book will tell you. Buy from our people, support our people. And when the time comes for you to get it for free, they'll give it to you for free. But you got to help them to also become financially independent and to make good use of the extra time that they now have. And it is very, very important that we know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not even in that particular church, it's the church is being blessed, the entrepreneur, the businessman is being blessed, and then somebody from outside is seeing this going on, which is always our mission, to bring people. So at least like everyone is winning.
It's a win-win. But when as a church, we are conditioned to take money, ask the congregation all the time, but we don't teach them how to manage money. We ask the congregation all the time, but we don't teach them how to manage time. We ask the congregation all the time. We don't teach them to support each other. So we read the Bible, we do the Sabbath school and everything. And then our congregation, they're disappointed. I have to go and work on the Sabbath because if I don't work, I can't pay my mortgage. It happens.
It does.
And a lot of that is happening. Whereby, if this person does child minding, you could say, okay, you're interested in doing child minding. We are a charity. I'm not a business coach, but I will see if I can find one and we can have a workshop on a Sunday and we explore that.
Yeah.
When you're showing your congregation that you're helping them to meet their own needs, you won't have to send out an offering plate. People will fill envelope and do cash up across the lines. The church will never have without. And I love my congregation, but we're not there yet. It's not anybody's fault. Don't start with no point blaming and pointing.
No.
We're not there yet. Yeah. But the opportunity is there for us to become financially independent and also time-wise independent. So we can be masters of our time, masters of our finance, and masters at doing the will of God.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, if anything was possible and you are given the opportunity to use your skills, use your knowledge,
Yes.
Use everything in you to
Mhm.
make an impact in the church. What would you do?
One of the things that I have done, and I reach out to my church,
Yeah.
but as I said, we're not there yet.
Mhm.
I will tell people what I know. It costs me nothing. I'm happy to tell those with a willing ear. It cost me nothing. The good Lord blessed me, and He will continue to bless me.
That's it.
Yes. If people want to know if I can do anything for the church, I can set up a workshop for churches. If people are interested, they can reach out. I can organize workshop, get people who understand finances, how to set up your business, and so on. What I will hasten to say, folks, when you attend these, do due diligence. You don't just take people's words for it. You have to do your own research. So you can go somewhere, collect information. You can go to the library, read a book. Do due diligence. It is important. And that will stop you from making bad decisions. So you went to a workshop, you heard some wonderful things, you heard some not good things, you asked some questions, you got some answers. When you leave there, give your brain time to process what came to your mind, what you have got in it. And then you do due diligence, which includes prayer, but not just prayer. Because we can't just left everything up to God. So. We pray, we look about it, but we go around, as I said, find a mentor, find someone who knows, and say, what do you think of this? And so on. Do due diligence. But yes, I can set up workshops. Some people will come just because they want money, to grab money from people. Some will come because they want to genuinely bond with people and help people along. And in the process, they'll make a living from it. But do your due diligence. But if there's anything that I can do for church where money is concerned, and I do the same with my family, I have workshop with my family on Zoom.
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
We talk about now. If my brother sees something, he sends it to the WhatsApp group. We watch it, and then we WhatsApp our thoughts. And before you know it, there's a full-blown conversation. Right? We're not rich. We're not mega like big rich, because we've come from afar and it's a long way. And for me, this is quite a good place to be. But we have little things that we have learned by talking to each other and learning. It took us a while to realize that, hold on a minute, why are we suffering? Why are you suffering? What happened? What can you do? And so before you know it, we encourage each other. Make sure you come from Jamaica. Make sure you have something in Jamaica. If you have to run, you run back to Jamaica. I don't care if it's concrete, wooden, or it's just a flat piece of land that you put a stick and a bit of shed on, right? We teach each other little things. We learn to support each other. We learn to speak to each other respectfully, but frankly. I like to be in charge all the time. Sometimes they have to tell me off. I don't like to hear it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's necessary. It's okay.
Necessary. Yeah. So on your website, you have a quote. I'll quote it. It says, experienced clients creating, like basically you experienced clients creating new opportunities for themselves that they never thought they could. But now I wanted to ask you, what is an opportunity that you never thought you could get and you got it?
Okay, well, in employment, I reached the level of senior management where I participated in the building of a brand new hospital. So we were in the process from conception, coming right up. Now, when I came here, I just came here to do some MRI and scan. And, I hear England is racist, so I didn't have much ambition by that way. I didn't even want to become a manager. I would apply for deputy manager's post because I realized, I thought it was, you know what? I'll stay in the background, do the work. They can do whatever. And I can, if anything, I'm not accountable fully. Somehow, I ended up in management, in senior management. I've traveled I inspected hospitals all over England. I've done masters and studies in healthcare and public administration that has to do with countries all over Europe. And when I see where I'm coming from and where that was, I was like, wow, And that's the same for my sibling. My brother is one of 4 vice president of a prestigious a university in America. And we just have to say, wow, the other one's a mechanical engineer. One does music producing, but we're working on his heart for the Lord. You know how it goes. And the youngest one, was the one who came out and showed us, like, listen, I'm not working for anyone. I don't want to do this. This is what I want to do. And that was when I was looking at him and thinking, but he's right. Right? So the things that I think I would not have been able to do, I never knew that I would be a part of something that made a hospital from scratch. How many people can say that? Not a lot. And I thank God for that. And owning my own business, I'm here. And let me tell you, having your own business has its struggles. Let me just put it out there, folks. You have got to have support. No man is an island. No man stands alone. And that's why I said to you, get a mentor. Get people around you who don't understand what you're doing, but will support you anyway. Because they believe in you. You become their brand. Because it's not the bright who are successful. It's those who have the support. Let me tell you that. Look at all the people who are in leadership. They are there because their wives and their children and their family are behind them. When you go home after a hard day, you need to have somebody to call to say, "Ooh, this happened." And then when it goes beautifully well, you got to say to somebody, "Cheers to us." And this is where the church comes in again. When you are going about a business, they don't understand it fully. Support. Claudia, I'm praying for you. Tracy, let's talk. Let me understand some more about what you do. Do you want to take a place in the health spot just to educate us about what you do? Yes. Support. So that's one of the things. And what I never thought I would have done is own my own business. I sit on a number of boards as non-executive directors, and I sit amongst people who are far more brilliant than I am, far more exposed. And the funny thing about it is they look at me with equal respect. Nothing but blessing from God. Yeah. From Corlett's Road, that ghetto, to here, and only God knows where else. Yeah. My dream, I'm going to put my dream out there. People say you shouldn't tell people your dream, but I'm putting mine out there. Yeah. My dream is to have a farm where we can raise food, farm food healthily, and for people to come from all walks of life to learn leadership and public speaking from me. Yeah. And they're going to do it in dungarees and wellies. Yeah. I can see it. And they're going to have healthy diets. And they're going to leave refreshed, revitalized, better speakers and better communicators. If I can get that done in England, it would be wonderful. If I can't, I'll get it done elsewhere by the grace of God. But that's my dream. So all of you who have your farms out in the countryside, I don't have one. Yeah, you never know, we can collaborate or so. But that's the dream I have for myself. I still have dreams. I still have goals, and I'll work on that. Yeah, excellent. And so my final question is, as you look at how your life has evolved, your dreams that you have for the future, what can you say to others about how life works out despite the blocks and barriers and everything that we may face? Okay. Now, this is what I'll say. I never got married. Lots of disappointment. That's life. You just brush off and go. I never had kids. I refuse to have children out of wedlock. That's just not going to work for me. I was born out of wedlock and it was tough. And I believe that children need mothers and fathers. They need both parents in their life. And if both parents are not there, they need the figure of that absent parents in their life. So my advice to people would be, forget the business for now. Establish yourselves and your children properly. Trust God, have faith, do the right thing. Don't run and go get the kids and then you're struggling to be single mom and single dad. And a lot of that happen in our environment. I'm a product of that. It's not nice. It's not good. And that in itself can hold you back. It can hold back your children. A lot of people go through it, and don't mix up sending your child to university and they're getting a degree as success. Sometimes they have psychological issues that they don't even realize they have for the lack of good parents and support. So that's one. Teach your children how to identify negativity and run to the hills. There are times in life when we have to deal with issues. There are times in life when we will have to deal with issues. And then there are times in life when we will choose what issues we want to deal with. Not everybody's problem is for us to fix. It sounds very selfish to say that, right? And not everybody out there is to fix your problems either. So when the times in life come and these issues are, teach your kids to know what battles to fight. You don't want them absorbing energies that will hold them down. It sounds really bad to say it, but it's just a mere fact. Shower your children with affirmation. Affirmation is important. Tell your children that you love them from day dot. Tell them how proud you are of them. When they do bad, tell them too. But how? Let them help you get the fix. Get your children to appreciate that there are people better off than them and people less off than them. That's what life has offered. And I focus on children because the children become the adult, become the Christian, become the business person.
Yeah.
And I have seen successful entrepreneurs, and they're dreadful to know on an individual basis. And what drives them is shocking. What drives you to do business? Because you were never loved. So you railroad everybody and you're successful. And you keep railroading when you don't have to. So look at the kids. Church, when you become conscious of a bias, when you become conscious of something that is not right, please look into it. It won't hurt you.
No.
When you become conscious of something that is not right, please look into it. It won't hurt you.
No.
Reflect, take some actions. So if you don't want to go to an individual and say this, you can say to your group or talk to somebody and say, what could be done in this instant? Leaders, the elders, the pastors, and all. Okay, so some of you have families there for years and you've been leading for years. Give somebody else a chance sometime. Help somebody else to grow. Put somebody else on the platform to do something.
Yeah.
It's not just a small group that can do things. Engage the congregation. And that's one of the best signs of leadership, when you lead and you have a dozen more leaders coming up.
That's it.
Okay. And then when it comes to business, for those of us who are entrepreneurial in our spirit, like myself and you, Tracy. Yes, Tracy is a quiet, strong everybody. She's a quiet, strong. She's not as Gabby as I am. She's a quiet, strong. But when you are, people have different gifts and talents and blessings. When you are entrepreneurial in your spirit, like I am, and you recognize that, because sometimes people sit in the congregation, they have no interest beyond worship or certain things at that point, because that's not where the strength lie. But you ask them to run a tabletop sale for church, and man, you can't believe the returns are so good. You want to convert every Sabbath into a tabletop sale. You see, not that you should. I'm just saying that it's a joke. But what I'm saying is, some of us are entrepreneur by nature. Do not shut it down because the church is a charity and because you don't understand it. Or do not use the person's skill to benefit the church without giving anything back. I just think that is very unkind. Grow your people, encourage them. So you can't put a flyer about your business in the front of the window so that everybody can see it. But around the foyer, you can have an entrepreneurial board. And all the people who put stuff up there, you make sure if you're talking about food, you have a food handler's permit. Because if you don't have a food handler's permit, don't say you bake pudding up there.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're doing a coaching business, have some proof to the church that you have some credibility so they can allow your flyer. You're known for that. You have a website, they can see something following.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just who said I am, and so just believe it.
And then what happened? You take people's stuff and mess it up, and then they say, oh, but the church. Integrity. And when the church help you, act with integrity. Be honest, be fair, be just, and give back. Not that you shouldn't be giving back before. You should be returning your tithes and your offering and whatever. But you can give even more. Yes? So it's helping each other. And believe me, if you want to look up, go on your search engine, look up businesses of the Bible. We can start. Adam was a farmer. And most farmers tend to live long anyway, folks, for those of you who are afraid of dirt. Yes? Longevity is among the farming community. Right? A herdsman, Abraham, Lot, herdsmen. Business, Lydia. She was a businesswoman. She sold cloth for rich people. She didn't sell to the poor. It's high end, the quality of her product. Dorcas ran a charity. Hers was a business. She had to come in. She had to do the same routine. It's just that she doesn't get paid in that sense. She ran a charity. Jesus was a carpenter. I never heard he worked for anybody. He worked for himself. He freelanced, folks.
That's a good one.
Am I lying?
I never, yeah, you're not lying. I never saw it that way. Yeah, but it's true.
He's a tent maker and a carpenter, and he freelanced. So wherever he traveled, he did some work, he got paid, and then he went and he preached because he was master of his finances and master of his time. Hey. So when you look at the Bible and you see, and some of us are in leadership, you had, was it Joseph, prime minister? So he had a high-end paying job, a job of influence and authority and power. And even though he went through a rough bit, he came out, God prevailed him, and he came out to the point where he could forgive his brother, help his family. You see, so when you're looking, we're looking outside to go to the school of business and so on, buy a book and read it if you can't afford that. Go on university and YouTube. Plenty of people there sharing stuff that you can benefit from. Do due diligence, as I said before.
Yes.
Read your Bible. They're all there. All the leaders, decision makers. When people were making, was it Abraham who was it was Abraham when he had all these people around him. And he had to make decision, but they were wearing him out. And I don't know who called him. I can't remember.
Or was it Moses and his father-in-law?
Or Moses.
Yeah.
And he called him and he said, listen, you can't do everything. That's a leadership decision. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to delegate. Delegation. Yeah. So look at the people with these skills, they do that. People with that skill, and they were delegating. Delegation was in the Bible a long time before they even give it a name. So I read the Bible with a business eye.
But I love it because then it shows how the Bible is, what's the word? People relevant at all times. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
It is relevant. And these are and this is how, when you look at all the different things that people do for a business, there were vineyards. What do you think they were making?
Yeah.
Juice and wine. Right? The prodigal son. Right? That's a family-run business. 2 brothers and a son. One father and 2 brothers, sorry. Yeah. And you know, and these are the type of things that you will look at and you say, oh, but entrepreneur is all over in the Bible.
It's all over.
All over. And then, where does employment concern? When you have the men who come in, when the Bible story was told about the men who came in at the last 11th hour, they get the same pay as. It is
Yes.
telling you people were employed.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not twisting the Bible, but it's just seeing it from the different vantage points at times. So for those of us who are thinking about going into business, I would say, do your research, speak to people, read, and look at your circumstance. Do I have time to do it? Do I have the support? Do I have the finance to do it? Does it need finance to do? What else do I need to consider to do it? Check it out. Do your due diligence. And if you're young and that's the way you want to go for it. So if you need to go to college to learn some principles of business, I don't know, go ahead. If you need to do some volunteering in a business place, or maybe down the conference or in a church setting, you can get the opportunity, go ahead. See if it's something that you like, explore it. On a farm, whatever. There are no uncharted business, and there is no business too good or too small. There was a guy who come to our business group and he did pest control. And we have to pitch 50 seconds to tell people about our business. And every time he stood up to talk about pest control, people would laugh. And the funny thing about it is, a lot of us have rats running up and down half the place. So they would go to him quietly and ask him. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
So there is nothing too big or too small. And remember, guys, support. Support. If you don't have a father in your child's life, be careful how you get people in like father figures. But find your dad, find your brother, find someone. That balance is needed. If you have an only child, make sure they're in touch with their cousins so they know how to share. They know how to squabble a little bit because they'll learn how to problem solve. They'll learn how to resolve conflicts.
Yeah.
then,
And I can
and
attest to that. Yes, the only child. Yeah, definitely had lots of cousins. And yeah, that's how I learned so many things.
That's right. And then when it comes to their entrepreneurial side of them, when it starts showing, when they're young and they're selling lemonade in a cup for 50p, you buy that lemonade. You help
Yeah.
them make that lemonade. You get those plastic cups. You help them to advertise. You sit with them from a distance so that they are safe in doing what they do. You help them walk with their little flyers that they're going to give to the neighbors to say, tomorrow I'm coming with my lemonade. Do you want
Yeah.
a cup to buy?
Yeah.
Help them. And kids learn a lot when they're young. It's not bad to have a workshop for kids with business. My nephews, if I had it, I would have shown you, but I sent it off to Jamaica. I have a nephew, and I think he's of the age to learn about money. I gave him 2 piggy banks, and I gave him a book about finance. And it's an easy read, 1 page.
Yeah.
And the one of the piggy banks is blue. That's for long-term saving. The other one is for a short-term saving. So if he sees something, he wants it, he saves it, he makes the money, he buys, he starts again. The other one he doesn't touch. And that is teaching him at that age how to handle money. Where did I learn that from? I learned that from a Chinese man. He was raising his kids and he was using those same piggy banks. And he said to me, Claudia, do you have children? I said, no. He said, do you have niece or nephew? He said, yes. He said, give this to one of them. And he showed me how it works.
Yeah.
He's not even Christian. So if you're into business, go for it. If your kids have that proclivity, help them, support them. It's better to explore it and nothing comes from it.
Yeah.
However, if you're academically astute, you want to become a lawyer, doctor, nurse, whatever it is, go do your academic.
Yeah.
But guess what? Understand that even with that, you can become your own brand of a business. You're not limited because you went to study at university. So I would just say to people, go for what you want, get the support you need. And the one support that will never fail you when everybody else does is the one from God. So I'm not the best Christian in the world. I said it 10,000 times. So I wanted to learn this.
Yeah.
God is the parent that he knows all of us. He knows us inside and out. He knows what makes us tick. He knows what we will do and what we won't do. And he knows how to look out for us. And if the bad parent know that they should give their kids good things, God knows that we deserve good things and he will give it to us.
He will. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say for that. And I enjoy doing my business show. So please come in Sundays, Adventist Radio London, 6 p.m. And it's just for an hour. And we listen to people as we talk with them. They share their story, they share their experience, and they also give their details if you want to get in touch with them, that you can have a chat. And if you miss those on the Sunday evenings, then we are on Spreaker.com, not Speaker, Spreaker. And I have interviewed everybody that I can think of, politicians, mayors, people who run the stock exchange successfully when they were leading in New York Times. And I've spoken to the most humble of people who are just trying and doing well at what they do.
Amazing. Oh, Claudia, you've given us so much. Thank you so much for joining, for dropping all those gems and the practical tips. Read your books, do your research. God is your answer. He knows you. He knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
So trust and believe and keep with your ambition, including the young ones. They can also do their part. We can support them in growing because these are the leaders of the church tomorrow. These are the leaders of society. So we can nurture them and help them to grow. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'll put your details in the description. I know they will look for you on LinkedIn, on your website or email, but I know
Facebook,
or Facebook,
and Instagram. I'm there
everywhere. So thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add finally?
I thank the Adventist Radio London for giving me the play, because it's very difficult to get somewhere on a Sunday for people to come in and to learn how to public speak. Come with an open mind, come prepared to learn, and do due diligence, and do not be afraid to invest in yourself. That's something that we're not taught to do very well, because whatever you get there, I cannot take it back when your money is long gone. So have a beautiful time, and see you, whoever wants to come. And thank you so much, Tracy. It's been a blessing, an absolute blessing, to be able to speak and be on the other side of the microphone for a change. To be able to speak and to tell my story. And hopefully somebody is inspired. And if people want to talk to me on any other topics they're here, reach out. I'm willing to have a chat with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you to the audience for viewing. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care of yourself.